Alright, so hello everybody and welcome to the SparkCast episode 55. And this one is from space. Not really, but it's immediately following the live stream which was about space, so it's close enough.
Well, I'm still on the computer that has a live stream on it that's in space. So we're sort of in space.
It's good enough for me. Um, so there were a few things that happened this week. We're going to get through them real quick after I plug the store again. So the Spark store, we're at projectspark.org, well, project-spark.org. You can pick up your own Project Spark themed Spark shirts. So far, the best sellers have been the Golden Tree, the Troll, Do Not Feed the Troll, and what's the other one?
Probably
Oh,
Owlbear.
Owlbear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who can forget Owlbear?
I could evidently.
Yep, I guess so.
All right, so I think the biggest shock to me during the stream was that the helmet is now a prop for the Space Marine. So any character can basically be a Space Marine.
Yay! Anybody's a Space Marine
Though
or
I
the
guess
Juggernaut.
it works
Because
best for the Astrotechs and for the female Astrotechs.
yeah, although someone could be from the Middle Ages and just a meteor fell and happen to have a Space Marine helmet on it, so they wear that
Well,
in their
I guess it would
travels
make
through
it
the lands.
if you recolored it. It might not make a nice night helmet.
Yeah, actually, if you because I should have shown the power on and off state. When it's powered off, then it doesn't look any recolor. It doesn't look too Astro Techy. It looks like a Juggernaut helmet. So yeah, it could actually totally fit in a medieval setting.
So that was like the coolest thing. And you mentioned weapons.
Yeah, we're gonna show those off next week. I guess you guys might be able to see some screen grabs of things. I'm not sure, but but you'll be able to see all that stuff next week. We have quite a bit to talk about there as well.
So was it just that there wasn't enough time to fit in the stream, or was it that you wanted to hold off for next week so you have something else to show next week, or are they just not done yet?
Everything's done. Everything's actually pretty much ready with this pack.
So release it
'Cause
tomorrow.
no, well, when I say done, we're so like everything gets done from an art perspective, and then we have lots of testing that we have to do to make sure just everything works properly. So we're going through the testing phase right now with it. We also have to, anytime we have a new character, we have to have an update come out before this pack, so we have to wait for the next title update for this new for the new characters. But yeah, we're pretty much done with it. And the reason why we didn't show off the weapons and such in this stream is yeah, because we didn't have enough time. We really want to spend a lot of time on like each of the pieces to give them their due part because there's a lot to cover with like every single thing here. And even with just the bunker and the Covier this week, it took a while just to get through all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, also a lot of that was avoiding the content you didn't want to show yet. But
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There was a lot of accidentally showing stuff.
so Killing Joke has now won two competitions in a row. What
Yeah.
happens if he wins the next one?
I don't know. He gets to be president of Spark.
No, that's already Fred.
Oh, that's true.
Fred for
Yeah,
president.
we honestly, with all this stuff, we always put it out each week to the artists and everybody, and they thought the combination of those two would make the coolest looking thing. So, and it does make something really cool. So he he gets in there again with making like a perfect exterior for a perfect base.
And all I have to do for the spaceship one is rename my space tanks one to spaceship because I have a bunch of spaceships in there.
Yeah. Remember though, they should probably be Codian themed now that you know the Covier are Dark Codians.
Oh, they were. So I had tanks in that level, and I
Oh,
also had
okay.
Codian ships.
Awesome.
I just have to recolor them to be black now, evidently, in emo. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get the that one. What is it? The what hair was it that came with the semi-Asian face? Wave, I believe.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna try to get that dark hair on top of the spaceship so that it goes across their face, Justin Bieber style, so they can be emo ships.
that sounds like a great idea.
Okay. So
Why not?
you were not amused. Got it. Um,
Well,
so
I'm actually, as we're speaking, I'm checking out what the prop looks like, what this helmet looks like on a medieval character. It looks awesome, actually. I take that back. It looks so good.
it was my idea.
Yeah,
Yeah. I claim it. So I get the next content pack for free because I had a great idea. That's how it works, right?
I don't I don't know about that.
Okay, fine. Uh,
But
so
yeah, color that helmet silver and it looks so cool. So freaking cool.
so this past week was the TU14, or for the uninitiated, Title Update 14, or a patch, the 14th one after release.
Yep.
So what was or wasn't able to make it into this pack?
So we had the preview ability of variables is now in there. That's kind of our next part. We're doing more to just make variables more understandable to people. So the first of those was allowing you to delete unused variables. That just made a lot of sense. The second of those, which was in Title Update 14, is you can preview variables. So finally, how it works is you set a variable equal to whatever the input is, and then you can preview that input. So it works really well. And the nice thing is you can, for instance, finally preview what a color is. So you're not just going to see the numbers, you're actually going to see a swatch of the color itself. If you are on controller, all you need to do is mouse, or not mouse, but go over to that tile, and then it'll show the preview right there. If you're on keyboard mouse, you just need to right click on the tile you want to see the preview for, and it'll show you that variable preview. That's like step two, and step three is giving you the ability to edit variables, which isn't in this title update. We're still working on it. We want to get that out as soon as possible, but we hit some bugs that we wanted to wrap up before we get that out to people. But yeah, we will get that one out to people pretty soon.
So the
The
burning
ability to,
question is, what is preview text? What do preview variables do?
it just allows you to like more easily see the thing you're working with. So like for instance, just by hovering over an in-world thing you're referring to, it automatically shows you that in-world thing in the preview. It automatically shows you the color swatch of the color you're looking at. It automatically shows you, like, if you have a text string, it'll have like a full box pop up with all of the text that's in there.
Rather than
Um,
just the first fragment of it that shows up on the tile.
yeah, exactly. It gives you more information. That's really that's really what we wanted to do with previewing of variables.
Will
Is
the
just
vector
giving you
variable
more information.
actually show all three coordinates?
It should do that. Yeah, it should.
Good deal. Um, so what's coming next title update?
Next one, we are not ready to tell you everything, but there are cool stuff coming in the next one.
All right, so what's the next community requested top thing to tackle?
Autosaves. That is the next top community requested thing after editing and deleting variables. The community doesn't want autosaves to happen as much. So
So are we able to turn them off, or how's this going to work?
we're not ready to reveal that yet. We're looking at a lot of different options for whatever works best for the community. But we are working on helping out with autosaves.
Do you have a time frame for when you'll be able to either discuss this more, or when you think, vaguely which title updates they'd be falling in the range of, like 15 to 19?
I guess you could say sure, 15 to 19. We'll have more information on that sooner rather than later. That's like a lower on the totem pole request that we're getting to sooner. So that's like the next top complaint is the fact that every time people autosave, the autosaving right now happens every 3 minutes in the game, and if you have a huge level, that can take a while.
Yeah, I can imagine if it includes the time that you're autosaving before the next one happens. So if it's a huge level and it takes a minute to autosave, then you have to basically every 2 minutes of creation you have 1 minute of autosave. Yeah.
Right.
I can see how that would be annoying for people, especially if you're on Xbox.
Yeah, it's something that's that PC users don't see as much, but Xbox users definitely will see more.
So we have only had a small glimpse of the music in the music pack. Are we going to hear the full tracks before they're released?
You will, yeah, I mean, we're gonna give you more info so you can listen to the tracks, you can get previews of them before release. So, that's on the dockets. That's coming pretty soon. It's gonna release next Thursday.
Right.
So in 1 week, basically. So you'll get more information on that, as we get closer to it.
But we have to wait until the Thursday stream when it's already released to hear the previews of the tracks?
Well, we're gonna release a video before that so that you'll get a video with all of the where you can. It doesn't have the full tracks for all the songs, but it's a video that will have about like 15 to 20-second previews of all four songs.
So about the music, the desert pack sounded the desert music sounded pretty good because it had the vaguely Arabic feel to it, right? Uh,
Hmm.
I wasn't really sure what made the other one stand out that apart from other music that we already have. Is there more to it than the small previews that might differentiate them a bit?
Yeah, it's actually they're all quite different than the music that you currently have. There's so yeah the desert music is does sound very Arabic. It sounds just like a desert. There's the Arctic music, which is it can actually fit in horror settings too, depending on what stems you use. But it's like a it's very background ambiance type music. So it's much more subtle, I'd say, than really any other music that we currently have in Project Spark. So that's something where if you just want kind of subtle music in the background, um, and
Ominous
then
tones.
yeah, and then the Alien Asteroids is I don't know the best way to describe that. I mean, it's like an eclectic ambient that
It sounded a lot like the the Champion's Quest or the existing sci-fi music.
it's quite different than anything really in Champion's Quest. It does sound, I'd say, yeah, it does sound closer to the sci-fi music, but with actual chorus and chords and such. So it's kind of I'd say, yeah, it is kind of an expansion on that sci-fi theme, but with just with a bit more music behind it, because the current sci-fi music is very quiet, very subtle.
Yeah, very.
Um, so this is more of like action themed things are happening. And then
The
my favorite,
Woodlands.
yeah, my favorite one is actually the Woodlands one, which sounds like a song you might hear around like a fireplace in a castle. It has like a really nice build to it. It's similar. I'd say like it's similar in a way that if you've heard in the Dungeon Pack, that Dungeon Descent song with the kind of violins building, it's similar to that, just with kind of different musical instruments building. Um, I forget what the musical instruments are, but that's my favorite, I'd say, of the four. So that one I can't wait for people to start using.
So Eric in the Bakery has been one of the most vocal people about having different types of music, whereas so far in Spark, pretty much all but one of the tracks is orchestral. I believe there's that one
Right.
that's sort of funky, electronic, but it's just that one kind of silly electronic. Will we ever be getting some kind of more, uh, maybe futuristic techno or something like that?
You possibly might.
Will we be getting more music packs in the future?
I can guarantee you'll be getting more music. I won't tell you how you'll be getting it, but you will be getting more music.
We'll be getting it through our ears.
That's true. We are working on smell-o-vision with music, so we're going to see how that technology progresses first.
Okay, that just went weird. But let's roll with it. All right. So the next content pack after that. Oh wait, no, we haven't finished the music stuff. Are we gonna see all the notes and stuff like that, the icons? Before.
Yeah, in the video we release, it's gonna there's one shot which shows all 19 icons. Also in the marketplace, you'll be able to preview all 19 icons as well.
Okay, sounds good. Uh, so the next one after that was the focus of the stream, which was the battle stations, which we briefly
Yeah,
discussed with the helmet.
yeah, exactly. Which I just started. I just finished putting on a night. Oh man, it's awesome.
Yeah, I can imagine, because it was my idea. But
Yep. It was my idea, dude. Stole my idea.
I claim it. It's mine. Anyone who
Yeah.
doesn't have to put my name in the description thanking me for that idea. But so the new thing was the Covier, right? The
Yes.
For lack of a better term, the Codite druggies of the
They
Codians.
just they just overuse Codite in the wrong ways, I guess you could say.
Yeah, we can phrase it like that if you want, because you have to fix your E10 rating in there.
Right. Yes. They are E10 Codite users, so they enjoy putting Codite in their skin because it makes them feel good about themselves.
It's confidence boosting. No,
Exactly.
it's not a controlled substance at all.
No, it's not. It's a very uncontrolled substance.
So I was actually surprised with like how Codian they looked as far as their armor went. It doesn't feel like there was a huge departure there in the clothing style.
I'd say they're. I mean, they're. You can definitely tell their style is very similar to the Covier drone, which they make. It's. I mean, it has still a Codian look to it. These guys were once Codians, but they have they've basically kind of turned their back on the peacefulness of the regular Codians, and they think that the fact that these humans around the galaxy, that are using Codite, it's bad, and they should stop using them because these guys want to hoard all the Codite for themselves because it makes them feel good about themselves. And so they've kind of, they left the Codians a while ago. So they still harken back somewhat to the style. You still have the Codian hieroglyphs on the
Right.
sides of their armor, but they have definitely gone darker and more sinister and more corrupted.
I guess in my heart of hearts, I was really just hoping they'd have more like blades and spikes on them as well, because they're basically the equivalent of the dark space elves in this point.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I was just hoping that they'd be more sinister looking, like with the spikes and the blades and the basically dark Eldar is what I was hoping for, just to be
Mm-hmm.
blunt. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so did you not you, but did they have any inspiration for what the um, Dark Codians or Covier would have like what formed their aesthetic?
It was kind of, I mean, there was kind of the elf archetype with the Codians and the dark elf archetype with the dark Codians, in a way. But it's also, we went for also the idea of kind of what happens when you get corrupted by your use of Codite and what does that turn you into. So there's some like degraded, corrupted aspect to them. They're like much more dingy. If you like really look at their armor, it's kind of scuffed from like you can just tell they've been in lots of battles. Like they have fought lots of things.
So are they like well financed? Will we see like Dark Codian military mechs or vehicles?
Well, you do know about the Covier drones, so they do have one form of of technology. You might see something else next week, but say in lines of spaceships, I guess we'll know what spaceships they drive after our community competition, won't we?
Yeah, and I really just have such great advice to give as far as that's concerned. But since it's a competition, you're not getting any.
All right.
All right. So the next topic was, let's see. So Windows 10. How long far away is that?
That is next Wednesday, the
So
full release.
I'm a little surprised that we haven't gotten any big announcements for you guys promoting Windows 10 working on Spark or um, big draws for people who are switching from Windows 7 to Windows 10.
Right. Yeah.
With it being basically a week away.
So the July 29th, it's gonna be a really big day here, and we don't want to take away from any. Microsoft has a whole plan. We don't want to take away from their spotlight. But having said that, you might expect a few things from us next week. Not anything that I'm ready to talk about, but you could expect some things. Windows 10, it's pretty cool when that launches, and with if you have Windows 10 build right now, you'll notice that Project Spark does work on it properly. So, and it works on it. I think the full retail of Windows 10 it has no hitches on it. So we're ready and prepped for Windows 10 and what happens day one there.
Alright, so it's going to function, everything's going to be fine, no bugs. No bugs?
Yeah, I think the only thing I've heard is because with Windows 10 you actually have a window you can you can resize. So I've just heard people who like mid play while resizing windows might have UI elements not
Relocate?
yeah, they won't relocate 100% of the time. So it's something that we're aware of and we're looking at. But it's not it doesn't happen too often, and it really depends on the scenario of how you're playing.
Going back to the coding real quick, it wasn't shown on the stream. Does the Dark Codian or Covier have a helmet?
Does he have a helmet? No, he does not.
Oh, that's sad. Is that BJ mentioned that having uh, the Space Marine helmet come as a prop came at a cost. Was the cost the Covier helmet?
I believe the cost was it was having to cut other stuff, but I'm not sure what. I'm not sure what. Yeah, I mean, turning it does take time to turn something like a helmet into a prop. There's always this is where you get into like the nitty-gritty of we have a team and we have so many hours in the day that we can work on stuff, so it's always give or get of do we make this more modular or do we make it less modular? We're gonna have more things, and where do we draw the line on what we add into packs? And so we made the call that instead of adding in like another prop, we would focus on making sure that that helmet was also a prop.
Hmm. I think that was a good call overall.
Yeah, I mean that's what our thought is. It's always a tough decision because you want to just give as much as possible, right? But there's you end up what you end up doing is when you want to give everything, then you end up giving nothing because you're working on giving everything.
Right. Though I do have to admit I'm ignorant because I don't know what was actually removed, but I do like that it's a helmet. That's a prop.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it's not like I'm sure it's not. Oh yeah, we we would have had an entire space castle, but we had to do the helmet, so space castle for you guys.
All right, I can see the next shirt now. Save the space castle.
Yeah.
So at this point, if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask Brian, feel free to, and then we'll add it to the conversation. But this is the first time we've talked to you since the SparkCastEpisode aired.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So how many voices did you do, and how many voices did Thomas do? Because it seemed that there was multiple in there.
Yeah. Thomas did the voice of Thomas. No, he did the voice of Hatch, and I happened to do all the others.
Oh, okay. Uh, is he gonna reprise his role as Hatch in future episodes?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
The
Or is he
the
get
next
killed off the next season with a brain tumor?
no the next episode will have more special guests as voice actors. And yes, you can expect BJ to lend his voice to stuff.
What you guys really need to do is bring on the guy who did the voice of the original Creation Well, just out of nowhere. Ah, Spark, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, that'd be great. If yeah, he could be we were thinking about like we should give him we should like make him the narrator of the thing.
That'd be awesome. Really.
Yeah. And yeah, I did Lumpy Space Princess. I'm glad someone got the reference there. I'm an Adventure Time fan, so
Oh, yeah, I have. Yeah, I never saw it. I saw one episode of that and was like, I am not nearly intoxicated enough to watch the show.
it's funny in its own regard. I'm a big fan of really silly, crazy comedies or crazy cartoons. Um, so it fits the itch for me. I was a big like even throughout college, I was a big SpongeBob fan. So this kind of fits that itch for me.
Yeah, a lot of my friends in college were SpongeBob fans too, but I don't think we need to go any more detail about that. Um, so, with the first episode, how long did it take to actually film and record all the voices for that?
We spent more time on that probably than, well, definitely than we anticipated. We wanted to make sure that we got it as close to right as possible. There was, like you got to think about it honestly, like a pilot. So we were really feeling out how, like, what our process is for these things. We have a long plan, but this is the first time we were actually acting on it. So it took us about, I'd say, a week of filming every single shot and then editing the whole thing. I didn't realize how long the process editing would be of stuff, which is silly because you have to add in like once you shot everything, then you then have to add in the voiceovers, and you have to add in like the music, and you got to add in like everything together, and you're doing like you're playing you're playing the chef of a like meal of with like thousands of ingredients. So that was interesting. But yeah, it took us about like building all the sets took about 2 3 days, and it took us about a week to film it all, to edit it all, to then get all the cuts out, and then reshoot some things to like get a bit more scenery in there. And yeah, all told, I'd say like a good solid week to get it all ready. And like that doesn't go into like the pre-production aspect of it, where we spent quite a long time scripting and coming up with the arc as well. So that doesn't kind of go into that, but just getting into like, all right, we know exactly what we want. Took us about a week.
Have you thought about creating a tutorial on how to do Machinima in Spark?
Oh yeah, totally. We're actually we want to get a bit further in. Let's see, what do we have? Like, I guess 2 weeks left before the next Spark episode comes out.
Hmm.
But we actually want to spend probably our last or second to last Thursday, where we'll actually like go through exactly how we're setting up the very first scene. Because the very first scene in the second episode is really intricate and very hard. We every scene in the second one is just like it's so hard. It's so much more technically savvy, but it'll make it so much more interesting.
So you should have started like 6 weeks ago on this.
Yeah, we already started on a lot of stuff with that, but yeah, we'll probably like probably one of the last two streams we'll actually show through exactly like the step by step what we do to come up with that one shot, and like all the back and forth, because especially when you're working with just like one shot, you go in and out of test mode so many times. Like you just reposition one little light bulb, go into test mode, see how that looks like, then go back out and reposition it again to get the lighting to start feeling like it's natural in there. So there's a lot of that, but it's it might be a bit boring for some, but it could be really interesting for others to see like really like the fine details you go through when just setting up one shot, and like how you need to think about like from the perspective of the camera how everything looks, and how you can kind of cheat, because you don't need to worry about stuff the camera doesn't see.
And lighting is really pivotal to the visuals inside of a Spark level. It really,
It's really pivotal to anything, honestly. The more you get into creation, the more you realize how lighting is the thing that just like it just makes stuff look amazing.
and I think we were both amazed recently by a video posted by Defco,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think either you or he needs to put out a tutorial on effective use of lighting in Spark.
Well, we definitely have that in the dockets to do a tutorial ourselves with getting a few artists and talking through, like really talking through lighting. We had an art stream where we sort of talked through lighting, but I
Yeah.
think I like the idea of taking just a scene that's already put together that has no lighting on it and just spending the hour talking through like basically just spending the hour putting the light bulbs on there to make it look natural. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to watch. It also shows like really if you want to get lighting good, it takes a while to get it looking really good.
But it really makes levels pop. Uh,
Oh yeah, it does.
I've seen levels that just look so bland that it's just like, well, I'm not sure what you did other than sculpt in this case. But with the light bulbs, it can really make things look not so much like Spark anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, the if for those of you who haven't seen it, there's just an amazing video by Defco, the creator who made a great creation in Super 16 Plus, and also made a really great creation for our very first game jam,
And a ton of
just
other
called
entries that he hasn't released.
yeah. But I mean, it looks like a painting. Like if you stop and frame, like just freeze frame, it looks like it's just perfectly painted. It just he uses lighting so expertly well.
It looks better than Super Mario Sunshine. There's no enemies in it that I can tell, but it looks really nice.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's really great.
Speaking of tutorials, have you guys been getting a lot of tutorial requests from the community?
Not as many, but we do have a few already that I think will keep us busy for the next few weeks. So it's actually good. We got a lot in in like over the course of a few weeks. We got a lot of requests, and now we're actually fulfilling all those requests. And soon enough, I will probably ask for, hey, if you have other requests. But if you ever do have a request, even now, just let us know, and we can try and slot that in. Like honestly, all these inventories tutorials came from someone messaging us and saying like, I really want to make an inventory where I can give my person custom armor. And it got me thinking of like, all right, so you want to see armor equipped on them, and you want to have an inventory, and maybe we should show you all the steps of making a really competent inventory system.
And where can people do that now? Like, how will they get a hold of you to put on record that they want a specific tutorial?
Literally anywhere that we read. So you can post on our Facebook page. You can post it you can tweet at us. You can post it on our forums. You can even put it in a YouTube comment, wherever you want to, really, and we'll probably find it.
You can also hang out on project-spark.org, and Brian will usually be lurking there to read the comment as well.
Someone from Team Dakota is usually lurking there. We have it up on a big screen. We have up live chat there at all times. So we'll jump in every once in a while, but it's always up there. So we're we're like Big Brother, kind of always watching chat.
The good Big Brother, not the bad Big Brother, right?
No, the bad one.
Yeah, I'm sure you're capable of being the bad one. No. Uh, so was there anything that you wanted to talk about this week on Spark? SparkCast?
Um,
Like, what have you been
hmm.
up to this week?
Well, I can't tell you guys most of what I've been up to,
So it's
but
really interesting
really,
stuff.
yeah, it is really interesting stuff. But I can't tell you guys, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, it's been like very busy for good reasons. For us, it's been if you felt things have been quieter from us, it's just because we're super busy working on a bunch of really interesting things for you guys. So it's a lot of good meetings and good planning, and I think also, especially with like every week a title update comes out, it's there's a lot more listening with the community. So um, we're very much into if you guys find bugs. especially with the new title update that comes up, us making sure we get that tracked and get it fixed as soon as possible.
And
So
how can people get a hold of the bug reports and send them to you?
through a variety of ways. They can either put that on the forums, or there's a great community bug tracker, FlySpray, that's run by some community members. You can plug it in there, and then you can actually track sort of how things are going with it.
And on FlySpray, you have the option to include additional details such as reproduction steps so that it can be easier fixed later down the road.
Yeah, exactly. Like with any bug or weird thing you guys find, it's always really important to us to get steps of what you went through to have that happen to you. They're called reproduction steps, and there are steps that we then go through so that we hit the same error as you, because then we can deconstruct it and say, all right, where did the bug actually happen? What is, you know, how can we observe it? How can we then because once we get to that bug, then we can pull a lot of data from it. And if we can't ever get to the bug ourselves, then it becomes near impossible to fix. It becomes something that we would fix by luck if we never see the bug ourselves. So being able to get those steps so we see the bug ourselves makes it so we can actually fix it. If we can never see it or never know how to find it, then we don't know how to help you out.
So, real quick on the topic of bugs before we go to a community question. Uh, as far as bug fixing goes, inside of Spark there is really no help mechanism aside from using the display tile an awful lot. Are you guys working or considering on making any debugger tools to help people figure out the errors in their coding?
We're considering some things in there. Yeah, there's a lot on the table in regards to that. I mean, we want to give you guys more information on your creations. But we want to do it in a way that's informative to you. You know, we have some easier ways to accomplish it right now that probably wouldn't be too informative to you. And so that's why we're in the thinking phase with that.
Okay. I'm glad because something like that would help both the novice who doesn't know that they forgot to put on the qualifier for turning off the menu after they exit out from the merchant, or even the most advanced coder who, after you pile on a bunch of stuff, it's harder and harder to test all the situations where it could have broken along the line. I know that's one of Bosch
Right.
Mackey's biggest griefs at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Super complicated makes super complicated debugging. Right.
Right.
So, Something Stirs asks, uh, with voice acting, is that in-game, is that Connect, or did you guys record just over top of it inside of an external editor?
No, we cheated. We recorded externally. We we wanted to have high quality voice acting for it, and we know that Connect does not provide the high quality voice acting for you guys. That is
Yet.
one avenue that we are investigating, working on.
And that also reminds me, for an idiot like myself, as far as when it comes to music, I have no idea what a stem is, what a stinger is, or any of the thing of the sort. Have you guys considered putting up like a music tutorial, like how to effectively use music in Spark?
It's a good idea. We I don't think we had considered that for a tutorial stream, like something to cover.
Because
But
I've
yeah,
always only used the loops, because that just seems like plug it in, change the pitch, and walk away.
yeah, that could definitely be interesting. Yeah, I'll add it to our docket of things that we can kind of cover in the future.
Good, because otherwise I would have absolutely no idea of where to start. It seems like
Yeah.
everybody who knows it, like, I want more stingers, and I'm like, a bee stinger? I don't know.
Well, stingers are the easiest thing to understand from all the stuff. So stingers are basically it's like a little segment of music. So it's like the drum roll at the end of a joke, like but that's like a stinger right there. So stingers are like littler stems of music you can use to kind of end a note or to emphasize something. So we have quite a few of those that came with Conquer. Like we have like the stinger for when the boss appears, like the kind of intro music for that. When you the game over stinger. So those are like kind of one use things that aren't intended to loop. They just play once.
And I'm curious, do you know what Project Sparker is asking when he says it would be cool to have some music slash ambient slash sound variables?
Hmm. That sounds interesting. I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are on how we might accomplish doing sound variables. Like what's the sound variable to you?
Would that be saving a clip as, or I don't know, project? If you want to go ahead and explain that further, it sounds like something would be
Like
interesting.
the what I'm assuming is you just have this tile that always just says like play music, and then it says play music, and then it's a sound variable, and then you can switch in and out whatever that sound variable is. So that sound variable, like one frame can be equal to this song, and then the next instance can be equal to that song, and so like you never have to switch that out for that like play music this song. You just switch that out
Somewhere
with
else.
like somewhere else. Yeah.
Play music equals this, play music equals that. Yeah, gotcha.
Hmm.
And so tomorrow, which do you know which games you guys are going to be playing next week or tomorrow?
Oh, yes, we do.
Which ones?
You will see.
Okay. Are you going to be showing off any of the creations of the outposts?
Um, I don't know. I guess you'll have to tune in live and watch, or on YouTube a few hours later.
All right. So if anybody else has any questions in chat, feel free to ask, and then I'll pass them along. Early on, I was a little bit hasty because I thought that we would have more topics. Must be missing one. Let's see.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I mean, so with sound variables, all right, the thing that was brought up in chat is when X plays, do Y. So that's interesting. So it'd be a sound variable to look for when this thing is playing, then something happens. I could see some interesting things happening from that. I don't think it's something we've ever discussed, but I could definitely see some interesting scenarios come out of that.
Couldn't you just have like a boolean and just change the sound time to the sound variable to be a boolean instead? It'll work just as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely ways around that because a song will just kind of you set a song to play at a certain instance, so it'd be more useful to just look for whenever that thing happens that played the song. But I could see especially if you're doing musical numbers, like for instance, I could see the benefit of when the guitar solo starts happening, then do this.
So it's mentioned that there's a good topic on the forums right now where it's regards to independent attributes of characters relative like sound or combat sounds and being able to toggle those on and off. Is there any concern about giving more control to players in regards to the things that are built in that currently you can't turn on or off?
Yeah, we want to give more control to our creators in every aspect. Um, and it's just we're getting there. It's just it looks slow moving, but we're getting there with giving you more and more control of your stuff. So like, that's something where that definitely makes sense, and we do want to give you guys more control kind of over everything. So that makes sense and something that we would want to tackle. We'll get to that. We'll get to things like that one day. There's It's not something I can tell you. It's not something that will be worked on in the next like month or two. Those we know what we want to hit on to give you guys more control over certain things. Um, but yeah, I think there is that, and there's also the people who want to be able to control, turning on and off the effects that plays when something dies,
Sounds like
idling
walking.
animations. Yeah, in general, that is the feedback we've gotten and the feedback that we want to act on and take care of is you guys want more control over everything in your creations, and we want to work on things that will give you more control of your creations.
Speaking of crazy, Project Spark's hair. Project Sparker's hair.
His hair or the hair he made in Project Spark?
Well, actually, kind of both, but we're talking at this point about his creation inside of Project Spark.
Yeah, yeah, that was really really cool. We that actually kind of that made its round like hot fire around our entire team. Um, it's like something that we didn't think someone would ever do with our flag physics. It's very cool.
It was a bit like a Rickroll, though. When you go watch the video, you're like, hair physics, and then it's a tutorial on grids instead.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty great.
Look at this amazing hair. Wow, she looks beautiful with this. Okay, guys, I'm going to make a 3x3 grid by 3 using just increment by index.
Yeah, that was a great tutorial though.
It was. I'm just waiting for part 2 where you actually find out how to use the grid. Like how to be able to move something in space on the grid.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because as far as it's been, I actually haven't seen a better game than turn-based combat in regards to using things with grids. Though maybe Conquer's Defense is up there.
Yeah, whoever made that.
Well, that'd be Bob Schmacky and an Average Recon and Paradox Moo Moose. Whoever Paradox Moo Moose is, I don't know that guy. I'm
Yeah.
Paradox Moose. So, explaining what had happened, so what was the hair inside of Project Sparkler's level? That's all I
Yeah,
asked.
he was using flag physics. So we okay. So when this character Conquer came along inside of Project Spark, he we added new tech because we wanted Conquer has a tail, and his tail. Uh, Early on, we had models of him just with his tail static, kind of like the squirrel, and it looked bad. We knew we could not have Conquer come out with just a static tail. So
The
we,
internet
we
would be aflame.
right. We spent the time and we created new tech for tail physics. Conquer was the first thing we ever put that on. We then our engineers looked at that and said, well, that tail physics that could be applicable to other things actually. And the very first thing they thought of is like that probably works on a flag too. So they took those tail physics and reworked it around and got that into flag physics. And that's what we basically shipped with the leaderboards pack, where we had these flags that kind of wave around, and then also when you're moving them, they respond to your movement. And they're actually a modified version of Conquer's tail physics. So it's because of Conquer that you guys have these flag physics in your game. And the very first request we got from people was, as soon as we release a flag, is when will we get flags without poles? And so that's something that you will see, and you'll definitely see that at some point in the future in Project Spark. Is you'll get the flags without poles, so you can use them for a lot more stuff.
Would it be possible to get a version of his hair that was only made only one object, so that you don't have multiple flags to make that sort of hair?
Well, the only thing I can say is we are going to do interesting things with the flag physics that aren't just for flags. So we are going to look at things that are not just flag based for those flag physics.
So if I were to say something like ropes or hair or
Ropes wouldn't really work with those physics because
robe,
so like a robe. Oh, um,
cloaks,
they could
capes.
potentially. Capes are like the closest I'd say. Like capes are closer. Um,
But then people
but
would complain about it not working with physics, like when you jump, it doesn't raise up and go up while you're falling down, that sort of thing.
it. I have to play around with the flag physics more. I thought it did that.
Oh, I haven't played around with it at all, so I'm just assuming it was always just statically waving in the wind, sort of thing.
No, it should react to your movement, so it should wave around as you're moving.
Oh, so appropriate physics reactions. That's interesting.
Yep.
I assumed it wasn't in there because I just didn't bother with it.
Oh no, their appropriate physics reactions are on it. Yay!
Well, that sounds like something that you could make a tutorial on.
I guess so. I guess we could do that, and we'll call the tutorial appropriate physics reactions, and it'll get all of 5 views.
Or you could say making the most of flag physics.
Yes, that's true. And then it'll just be linking to Project Sparker's hair tutorial.
What he needs is to get someone with a skullet. Do you know what a skullet is?
No.
It's when they have a mullet, but it's because they have a bald head and not
Oh,
properly pruned front.
that's pretty great.
Okay, so we have a few minutes left in today's show, so real quick, we're going to go through. Tomorrow you're doing the play this creation type thing. Do you have a guest?
Hmm. We probably might.
Probably might. Well put. And that will be at 11 a.m. Pacific time.
Yes, I will. Or 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Or 7 p.m. GMT. Or maybe, no, wait. They're on British
Yeah, so 2 plus
summertime.
5, yes.
Yes. So but I forget if it's GMT or BST. I forget.
And this is the math stream now, where we
Or
do
just,
time
or the
math.
Times of the World stream.
And then on Tuesday, you're going to have another creation stream, I presume? And you would be the one that's hosting that one?
Tuesday's education stream will be the finalization of inventory. So the trilogy comes to an end. The epic
The,
trilogy of how do I make an inventory?
the final one is always the most disappointing.
I know, exactly. It's gonna have like 8 endings,
It's going to have
and they're
Ewoks and Bane.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, Tuesday is going to be that, and it should just be me. Thomas is on vacation this week, so it'll probably just be me on the stream.
Oh, is that why he wasn't here today? Oh, on
Yeah,
previous stream?
yeah. So every once in a while, one of us has to, go and do other things in the world that are not Spark related. But he'll be back later on next week. But yeah, it'll probably just be me on the stream next week.
Oh, I figured that it was him being sent to some conference to talk about education in the Spark or something.
We do that a lot also, but no, it's good old vacation time.
It's hard to imagine. Like hasn't even been there for 6 months. Isn't he gonna get fired when he gets back for taking a vacation early? Not working hard enough?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen when he comes back.
All right. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and plug again the Product Spark store on product-spark.org/shop. I believe is the URL for that.
I
And
bought a shirt and it's pretty awesome.
if you guys have any requests, feel free to ask for what kind of shirt you'd like. Also, we can make ball caps if you'd like a ball cap, or mugs. I believe we can make mugs. At the end of the month, we will be adding more shirts. So hopefully every month from now till however long we're in existence, we can keep adding more and more designs to it. I know Funk, I can't pronounce his full name because it's German, but Funkin something. He provided a design for a squirrel being strangled, so that'll be showing up.
That's awesome.
It looks like it's being strangled by a void tendril or something.
Nice.
Um, Another one will involve Conquer for the Conquer fans out there, and Fred
Very
actually
nice.
designed that. It's probably the most detailed shirt we have so far. Uh, I was working on a Boolean shirt, just I was going to say use a Boolean, and that was going to be the text underneath a giant Boolean symbol. But I don't know if you noticed, but the quality of the icons in Spark don't look great when they're blown up, unless they're one of the newer icons. So it got all kinds of pixelated and grainy, and I just couldn't bring
Ah,
myself to use it. And remaking that thing out of vectors got really tedious really quick, because it had several layers to it. It was a lot more complicated than I expected it to be. It looks like it was drawn somewhat freehand, but not somewhat, so it was, I don't know, just difficult.
ah.
Oh, it was a Kraken tentacle originally. That makes sense. Kraken is a user on who hangs out on .org.
Yes, he is.
All right, so Zip Up Hoodie. I think there is a zip up hoodie. Zip up hoodie. No.
Zip a hoogie.
Zip a hoodie. There's a zip a hoodie. But when we select that one, it's like it's a lot more expensive than a T-shirt. We can add it, but the price is pretty much out of our control because of the cost of production of that shirt.
Mm-hmm.
In
So
any
you're
event,
saying there's a chance.
so you're saying there's a chance. Yes. Yes. I forget what there was something where someone posted that on .com's forums recently.
Oh, someone was asking about if in any time ever in the future they could have, will have the ability to add more terrain or more props to the prop or terrain limit. And I said potentially at some time in the future. And someone said, so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah,
It was great.
yeah, you actually trolled them pretty hard because you copy and pasted and then edited something somebody else said. That they
Oh, no, I didn't do such a thing. Those are my own words.
So we were gonna have a Thomas the Troll shirt, but now we're gonna have Brian the Troll shirt.
Or you just have Thomas and Brian the Troll Brothers.
That would work. Though we're gonna have to make one of them a lot shorter than the other one, and have a rattle in his hand because Brian's only 12. Thomas is only 12 years old.
Well, actually, he's out celebrating his 13th birthday. Thank you very much. That's what his vacation is for.
Inverted Spark logo shirts. Well, you're gonna have to tell me what that means after the stream, but we are out of time, and thanks everybody for joining, and we will see Brian tomorrow and on Tuesday, and you'll see me hanging out at .org pretty much for the entire week and weekend. So Brian, thanks for joining us. Everyone in the chat, thanks for joining us as well.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
All right, good night, guys. All right, we're off air. So after battle stations, like, what's the next pack? Like, and how long will it be after this?
You'll get nothing ever.
Oh, you're a bad man.
That's the last of everything. You'll never get anything after that. It's a battle station because it blows up everything.
How is it a battle station? It doesn't even have any guns or turrets on it. All right, fine. All right. Good night, guys. I tried.